By golly, come on now. And what have you got here?
Well, I brought in a copy of my debut novel, Blood Orchids. It's a murder mystery set on the Big Island with a little local girl detective who gets in over her head with a pretty intense case. And I just brought out my second novel, Torch Ginger, and that's set on Kauai. And Lei Teixeira, my detective, goes to Kauai to solve a few more interesting cases.
Okay, so you're a mystery writer.
Yes.
And you have written and published 2 beautiful novels so far.
That's right.
And they're both set here in the islands.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Orchids, a Lei crime novel. Now, Lei is your protagonist, is that what we call it?
Yes, she is. She's, I think she epitomizes a lot of our local people. She is multiracial. She's Hawaiian, Portuguese, and Japanese. Yep, her last name is Teixeira.
Yep.
And she has a very checkered past and a rough upbringing. And she basically goes searching for justice, I think, in part to try to heal her own past.
So it really does sound like a lot of real people and somebody who might really be a police person, somebody in the law.
That's right. And this book came from, in good part, my work as a mental health therapist, and Lei represents some of the kinds of clients I've worked with over the years and known.
Ooh, okay. So are you born and raised on Kauai?
Well, we moved there when I was just a baby, but
okay, so pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, I went to public school and all those good things.
Okay, just like me.
Yeah.
only you were on a nicer island. Well, really more rural.
Yeah.
So you grew up really kind of rural Kauai.
Yeah, and if you check out Torch Ginger, which is set on the north shore of Kauai mainly,
yeah,
that's where I grew up, and a lot of the scenes there take place in places that I really am familiar with. So it was easy and fun to write.
Wow. Well, now I love to read, and everybody who listens knows I have a thing with words, and I love to read. But I have just a world of respect for someone that can think out a whole book. How in the world does it happen?
It's kind of an interesting story. And something you listeners might not know is that I've known Ginger for many years. Our children went to school together. And I started writing, well, I've been writing for my whole life. But I started a little blog that was anonymous. Only some of our children were following it back when they were in high school. And that's where the Lei crime novel started. I did a short story about a detective who's trying to solve this crime. And I added chapters, and then my followers were like, what happens next? What happens next? And I realized I finally had the juice and the energy to finish a whole novel, which I had never really believed I could do.
It just seems impossible to me, a whole novel.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. I'm always just filled with admiration when somebody can do that.
Yeah, well, I have to say it's, now I have sort of my chops and my confidence up, and I know I can do it, and I'm powering out these books in about 6 months. I'm actually 5 books into the Lei series.
All right, so this is a whole series with the main character named Lei Teixeira.
Mm-hmm.
They all happen here in the islands,
right?
And they're mystery novels,
right? With a thread of romance. So there's always
thank goodness.
Yes, and actually, Torch Ginger has a smoking hot love triangle. So I'm gonna check that out.
Golly. Wow, with my name on it even. I'm so impressed. I just can't imagine. So do you think the whole book through before you write it?
You know, it's kind of been an evolution. Like I said, the Blood Orchids, which you're looking at right now, started as an online blog. And so, of course, there was no plan. It was me winging it each day, trying to think of something new and entertaining. And then this book needed a ton of editing, and I went the full route of getting an agent and trying to get a publishing house, and years of effort and rewriting went into it. By the time I went through all that, I said, I got to find a better way. So I have learned to outline now and write from an outline. But
just like our English teachers told us.
Yes, but my first two books, the two that are out now, no, I wrote by the seat of my pants, sort of inventing the next
So
thing.
they sort of happened to you.
Mm-hmm. They happened to Lay, and she
must be a part of you, though. This character must live somewhere. She must have a room in your brain.
You know, people ask me that, and Lay is a sexual abuse survivor, so there have been these moments of, like, well, did that happen to you? And no. But it is, Lay is like the part of me that wants justice for people, wants to fight for the underdog. And I'm a therapist, so mostly it's sort of mopping up tears and helping victims. And but there's a part of me that wants to sort of get out and kick some perpetrator booty, and I think that's the part that Lay represents.
Some perpetrator booty, folks. She's going to kick some perpetrator booty, and I believe it. All right, I'm going to play a little song just so that we have some music, but then we're going to come back and speak with more from Toby Neal, author of Blood Orchids and Torch Ginger. So stay tuned. Well, what we've got right now is Toby Neal. She's a blossoming, wonderful mystery crime novelist right here in our midst, writing tenacious crime stories. And we're going to go ahead and let her read a little bit to you so you can hear in her voice how her first novel, Blood Orchid, begins.
Good morning. This is chapter 1. Drowning isn't pretty, even in paradise. The girl's features were bloated by water and nibbled on by wildlife. She lay half embedded in silty mud, naked as a seal carcass. Long hair that might have been blonde wrapped around her like seaweed, one sparkly hair tie still in place on the side of her head. Leilani Teixeira grimaced at the sulfurous smell of the mud as she stepped into it, shiny regulation shoes disappearing, and squatted to inspect the body. After 3 years on the force in Hawaii, she had seen several drowned corpses and had learned to stay detached as she looked for any signs of violence. Still, she was thankful for the small mercy of the girl's closed eyes. Her partner Pono's voice was a bass drone, interspersed with static as he called in the discovery on the radio. Lay stayed on her haunches, her eyes slowly surveying the entire overgrown area of the small county park. Invasive Christmasberry bushes and clumps of tall peely grass competed along the unkept banks. Mid-morning sun leached reluctantly from under cloud cover as she spotted what looked like a bobbing coconut a few yards out. Lay glanced around. No palm trees ringed the pond. She pushed her pant legs up and splashed forward into murky water warm as blood, clots of yellowish algae dotting the surface. "Hey," Pono called. "What the hell?" Oops, is that okay? "What the hell are you doing?" "Got another one," Lay said. The water reached her thighs. Any deeper and she'd have to go back and take off her bulky duty belt. She approached the body, floating face down. Female, small build, brown-skinned and nude. Lay mentally composed the report. She extended her baton and poked the corpse, wondering if something might fall off if she touched it. But the flesh was hard, still in rigor. These girls hadn't been dead long. "Let the crime scene techs deal with it. You know you're not supposed to touch the body, and I don't want you to get in trouble again." She ignored Pono in the grip of a compulsion she couldn't put words to. There was something familiar about this body. "Oh, boy. Okay, I'm hooked. You've done it. It's a grizzly. It's grizzly, but I like it. I'm all nervous now. Oh, my God. Floating coconuts, and you look around, no trees, can't be a coconut. Oh, no. Oh, Toby, I didn't know you had it in you. I thought you were this very nice person." I know. That's what people have been saying. Well, sorry.
The dark side. Dark side of Toby Neal. Oh, wow.
I am a very nice person, but
Right.
but I do have a very overactive imagination.
Well, let's see. There was a saying about that. Imagination. Curiosity is solved, is cured by imagination, and there is no cure for imagination.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I think it was Dorothy Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Geez, Louise. Ooh, now I have to read the rest of the book. Thank goodness you brought me one.
Yeah.
It's Blood Orchids, and the second one is
Torch Ginger, set on Kauai.
I kind of like that title since my name is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Torch Ginger. Of course, I grow them.
Yes.
You're not going to creep us out, are you?
Yeah, there's kind of a funny story about that. I had my first agent, she argued with me about that title, and she said, what is that? Are you trying to, like, imply that the plant is on fire? And I was like, no, Torch Ginger, it's a common Hawaii plant, and I actually had to send her a link and pictures and that's what I'm finding is that the book is doing really well. I'm ranked fairly high on Amazon, which is awesome, and even mainlanders like it. But there is this sort of educational piece, and particularly in Torch Ginger, I spend some time on Hawaiian culture. There's Kumu who she's actually more of a kahu, and she teaches lay and has some insight into the case that Lay is working on. So I use that as an opportunity to share about Hawaiian culture to more of a mainland audience, I'm hoping.
Well, there's a lot to be found in this riveting, kind of scary book. So I'm guessing that Pono is going to be the counter love thing. Is it Pono?
Nope, Pono is her partner.
Okay.
If you read a little bit further, though, in the first chapter, I will say that he does make his debut in the opening chapter.
Well, speaking with Toby Neal, author of Blood Orchids and Torch Ginger, two fascinating new novels that are available for you. I'm going to put Natalie Merchant on with a Topsy-Turvy World for just a moment, and we'll come back and talk just a little bit more with Toby Neal.
The first book is definitely the darkest one. It's where Lay's past kind of collides with the case that she's investigating. And I'd say that's a, PG-13 to R rating, so in case people are concerned about that. The rest of the books pretty much go into PG-13. So that's kind of how I started off, because the past had to be exhumed, if you will. And it is a little bit...
exhumed.
Yes, exhumed. And yeah, if you're interested in any of my writing, I have an ongoing blog, tobyneal.net, and I just write about living a creative life in Hawaii, so it'll be kind of like little things that catch my mind, and I do a lot of like amateur photography that I stick on there too. So
well, you've got some pretty marvelous professional photography by your husband as well.
Yes, we're quite the creative couple. My husband is an artist and photographer, Mike Neal. His work is in several galleries.
Now that you've purged the house of those terrible, terrible children.
Oh, and we miss them every day, gosh darn it. But we're learning to live without them. That's more like it.
Apparently, you're doing very well. So how do you like life without going to work at the schools?
Well, it's only been my second week, and I have to say I am
You're okay with
loving it. Get up in the morning, take a walk, drink a cup of coffee, go sit down and write till noon, and then I go see clients in the afternoon, and I just feel like it's got a beautiful rhythm to it, and I'm living the dream. I'm really stoked.
Well, the only sad part is they'll miss you in the school system because you are such a good counselor, and we really do value our counselors.
Yeah, and I will miss that too. I really will.
Yeah,
I'm going to stop by.
It's like being a doctor. I mean, you can really life-changing. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have a good counselor and you run into them, you can actually change somebody's life.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. I've had the fortune of running into a few of my clients that I saw in junior high. I was at Kalama for 5 years as one of their counselors, and and to see them grown up, and they always are eager to tell me what they're doing. And, you know, I've been around long enough that sometimes they're introducing their children. So it's a gift. It's a gift to be in the helping profession.
But she's pretty happy about walking away from it. And this is Toby Neal. She's writing a wonderful series. They're very pretty, and they're you've done a beautiful job in finishing them. I mean, it really looks like you're famous already. Yeah,
well,
a very sexy picture on the back.
They say fake it till you make it, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, it's a really great thing. If you like to read, and you like to read mystery novels, and you'd like to read something that has a Hawaiian flair, this might just be the book and the series for you. Lei Teixeira, fighting and sleuthing her way through paradise. And you can have your own copy and just check it out. It's Blood Orchids, a Lei crime novel by Toby Neal. All right, we'd like to say thank you so much for coming in. I've so enjoyed having you.
What a treat. Thank you.
And I thought I would play Delbert McClinton, Old Weakness. I wanted something about weakness and getting over it, because that's what life is all about. So here's Delbert, Old Weakness, coming on strong on Maui FM. Song, because we're talking with a mystery crime, a novelist, Blood Orchids, a Lei crime novel by Toby Neal. And I'm telling you, folks, if people fall in love with this book and they hear you and these sounds so fascinating and they want to read this book, it's all set in the islands, so well written and lovely and satiny to touch and pet. Where in the world would they find it, Miss Neal?
Unfortunately, it's only available online, but you can order it through Barnes & Noble or Amazon.
Since there are no bookstores on Maui.
Yeah, pretty much. And, yeah, I'm working on getting it into Costco. I'd love to see it in Costco, and I think people would chomp it up, because it's, you know, when you're on vacation, you're looking for a local read, and I was just looking at the table there going, oh, look at all these sad, you know, little...
Yeah, this should be in all those little condos for people to pick up and read by the pool. This looks like it.
It's got a lot of our local culture, so there's a good deal of pigeon in there, and just kind of the real life that people live in the islands.
And that's nice, and it's we were talking a little bit off. Oops, I forgot to do this. Gosh darn it, I'm so naughty. We were talking a little bit about other books that have been set in the islands that don't come across naturally. And so I'm glad to hear that you're a local girl, and that so that you're sort of setting it out the way it is, because it's a rich culture.
Yes,
and we may as well, you know, have some fun with it.
Yep, absolutely.
So you say that there's a romantic thread that ties through. I mean, you're not just writing one book. You've written two, and you've got others in the can, so to speak.
Yes. So the next one coming up is called Black Jasmine. Black Jasmine is set on Maui, and I just can't help getting excited because of the three that are pretty much finished. It's my favorite, and it's got a really kick-ass female villainess who pits herself against Lei. And that is coming out in October.
We don't always say ass on the radio. Ass is, but it can be a donkey, so that's all right. Forgot to school you about that. There's a couple of words that are verboten.
Okay. I'm chastised.
Oh boy, I got to chastise the what are you now? You're a counselor.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a mental health therapist as well as a writer.
But you walked away from this to write, did you not?
I walked away from my full-time state job. Yeah, I was a behavioral health specialist in public schools for the last 12 years, and I just left that job to do basically private practice in my writing.
So you've seen some naughty kids. And some people who are acting up and acting out.
Yeah, so in Blood Orchids, there's kind of a scene where they go interview some students at the high school, very reminiscent of some of my work at Kekalike High.
Yeah. We've gotten some really hairy stories. Bobby Boss came in. And she told us some stories.
I know her.
Yeah, of course. You would. And she's in the junior high. And some of the stories she told us from the kids that she's working with were blood curdling.
Yeah, it's a tough, a tough road out there for a lot of kids.
Yeah, some kids are really in over their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got a wealth of real-life experiences from which to draw.
That's right.
And you do.
Right. And I did want to say a little something about the romance that begins in Blood Orchids. It is a thread that I continue to explore through all the books. And it's part of one of the themes that I'm exploring is this recovering from the wounds of your past through this exciting mystery. And so it starts in the first book, and then Lay progressively gets better from her past.
Mm-hmm.
And her relationship is part of that healing, if you will.
Mm-hmm. All righty, well, I'm going to play a little song and pay some bills, and then we're going to ask Miss Toby Neal to read a